Okay, let's see how that works. All right, we're back live. Let me delete these other ones.
Let's see.
Check 1, 2, 3, check. Is everything normal?
Back on.
Check. Check 1, 2, 3. All right, good. We're back. All
Sweet.
right. Let's start the show now. Only 10 minutes late.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Good Lord. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs, and we are back. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
So after taking a week or so off, my computer doesn't know how to act anymore. So everything was falling apart before the show. But we're here. We're back after a week off.
You were still on a extended vacation.
Yeah, we were going to have to take another week off because my computer wanted a vacation. But how was your week off?
Well, I was sick through most of it, so there's that. No, we were talking before we started, but Tuesday afternoon, shortly after I ate lunch, I started to feel sick. I think I got some kind of food poisoning because I just felt sick to my stomach from Tuesday all the way up until Sunday morning. Sunday was the first day since Tuesday that I felt normal. So I haven't really been at work. I went in for like a half day on Friday, but I couldn't do it after that. I had to go back home and get more rest. But other than that, played a lot of the game that I'm going to be reviewing tonight. So I've got a decent amount to say about it. So there's a silver lining in everything.
Good.
But how was yours?
It was good. Remind me never to eat at your house anything that you cook.
We'll let Samantha do all the cooking.
Yeah, I'll eat her food. Like if Derek's like, I made a salad. Like, no, I'm good.
No.
It was good. I played a lot of Jedi Survivor. Finished it up last night, actually. So I'm ready for Indiana Jones. Is what I'm ready for.
It looks real good.
I'm so ready. I watched that trailer like 5 times just because it just looks so cool. I'm so ready for that game.
It's almost like watching a trailer for an Indiana Jones movie.
I know.
But you get to play this one.
Makes me want another Indiana Jones movie. I mean, I know Harrison Ford's getting old, but I don't know.
Why not?
Why not? Wheel him in.
If Jared Leto can be in Tron,
yeah,
Harrison Ford can make another Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I actually like the Dial of Destiny. I thought they did a really good job with the de-aging thing and all that. Like it was like watching an old Indiana Jones movie. I really liked that movie. I don't care if people say they hated it or whatever. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I try not to compare it to the originals because they're in a class all on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But it was what it needed to be. It was a fun summer blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great send-off for that character. If it, in fact, is the final Indiana Jones movie, which I think it is. But I enjoyed it. It was really good.
Joey, you're right. It was definitely better than the movie we dare not say its name, or Crystal Skull, everybody. We're talking about Crystal Skull. Here's the thing about Crystal Skull. The first half of that movie is great. It's a great Indiana Jones movie. And then it just goes off into wacko land for the last half of the movie, and that was where it completely loses me.
Shia LaBeouf swinging through the jungle with monkeys.
That was the part.
All that stuff. Yeah,
that was the point of the movie. The CGI monkeys lost me. I was like, I'm done. I'm never gonna watch this again after this.
It's funny how you can look at certain movies like that as just like your breaking point.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, this is not good.
There was just, I don't know, that kind of weird. There's a lot of movies from like the late 90s to, I would say, the early teens where CGI was just, it was almost like we were getting diminishing returns, because you go back and you look at Jurassic Park and even The Matrix, like those movies are perfect. And then there's stuff out as late as like 2012, 2013, where it's just like, ugh, this is the worst looking CGI ever.
Well, not to mention whenever you watch it in HD or on a 4K television, it does it no favors.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing there, Rampage.
Yeah, I see what he's doing. I'm not
And
even going to entertain.
I ain't falling for it.
But yeah, I'm ready for that game. I think I might. I don't know what I want to play until that comes out. Did they even have a date for it yet? I mean, we're already in June. When does that game come out?
I can't remember. Let's see. Indiana Jones video game release date.
Should be sometime soon.
It just says in 2024.
Really? Just give us
Might be a good
date.
holiday game.
Yeah, that's probably when it'll be. It'll probably drop around Thanksgiving. Get that holiday crowd. But I'm okay with that. That'll be my vacation, Christmas vacation game this year.
Same. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. But we got a little bit of news to get to. You ready to get to it?
Oh, sure.
Here we go. Some of tonight's stories were submitted to us by Armez Jackson, and if you have a news story you'd like us to cover, send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. And this first story comes from Nintendo Life. It's one of their random articles. It says, unofficial Legend of Zelda NES remake gets 20-minute gameplay video. If you've been longing for an official remake of the original Legend of Zelda on the NES, the chances are you'll have a pretty hefty weight on your hands. Thankfully, then, you can at least assuage your pain by checking out the latest gameplay video of an unofficial remake from fan Lloyd Empty. It's been up for a while at this point, but it's never too late to highlight excellent projects like this. It showcases the game from the beginning, albeit with some interesting alterations to the structure and dialogue. Let's see. He's been working on the remake for several years at this point, but there are some janky animations here and there, but visually it looks remarkably similar to Nintendo's own Switch remake of Link's Awakening. So I'm thinking this is going to get shut down, and I can't believe it hasn't been shut down already by Nintendo, because they do not like stuff like this.
It actually does look kind of good, though.
I would play it. It looks great.
You know, we've talked about why hasn't Nintendo just ported over, like the remake of Wind Waker that was put out on the Wii U, or Twilight Princess. Why has there never really been extensive talk about remaking the original Legend of Zelda game?
I don't know. I mean, they could just completely give it the Link's Awakening juice on it. Like they could just make it in that style, and I would be perfectly happy.
Yeah, I mean, I would. That's what I would do as well. I'd give it that kind of cartoony, top-down view. But there's been so many people that haven't been introduced to that game. Yep. Yeah, they've re-released it for virtual consoles and whatnot, but why not give it the full remake treatment? Yeah. It's the game that started it all. You wouldn't have Link to the Past, you wouldn't have Tears of the Kingdom if you didn't have the original Legend of Zelda.
I'll tell you why this has not been done by now, and I can tell you in one word: Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo is the reason why we don't have cool stuff. I mean, this is a no-brainer moneymaker for them? Why would they not do something like that?
I don't know. But I feel like it's something that they would do, though, because you know that they thrive on nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's what Nintendo is. It's just like they did a kind of a remake of Super Mario Brothers when they did Super Mario Brothers Deluxe on the Game Boy. But why not do it with the original Zelda?
Yeah, I don't get why they've never did any kind of punch up on the original Legend of Zelda. They never have, and it's so weird because they could have remade this thing 10 times by now and would have gotten my money 10 times over at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just funny how we've never really discussed that. You know, we've talked about remakes of all these other games, but we've never talked about the original Zelda.
Yeah, it's like it's forbidden fruit for Nintendo to remake it, and I don't know why.
To me, it's fairly easy. But what do I know?
Yeah,
I'm just a fan.
Me too.
From TheVerge.com, Nintendo will detail its holiday 2024 Switch lineup in new Direct. A busy June for gaming news just got a little busier. Nintendo announced its next Direct presentation, which will take place, of course, tomorrow, the day after we're recording the show.
That's when all the good news drops, day after us.
Yeah. So we'll talk about what happened next week. But yeah, it will take place June 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, so that's 9 a.m. Central. The event will be focused on games coming in the second half of 2024 and will be around 40 minutes long. The company previously said that it would be holding a June Direct covering Switch games for the end of the year, and also made it clear the event wouldn't include the much-anticipated Switch successor, which now isn't expected until 2025. Nintendo reiterated that today by saying there will be no mention. The event is notably large because the Switch lineup for the remainder of the year is pretty thin. We have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which comes out June 27th, Nintendo World Championship NES Edition July 18th, and there's nothing currently on the calendar besides that. We've already got the Paper Mario remake. We've had the Princess Peach game. So what else could there be?
Maybe something Metroid related, but I highly doubt that. It's like a negative 2% chance of that happening.
I meant to send this in the group chat, but I saw a funny thing on Twitter the other day that apparently it was like several years ago when they announced that Metroid Prime 4 was in development, and we've got nothing since then. I don't know.
They scrapped it, and they were supposed to be restarting, and now that was like, what, 3-4 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
And plus, the Switch is coming up, like, it's a 7-year-old, coming up on 8 years old, the Switch is, and it's at the end of its life cycle. Why would they be putting out huge titles if we know that the Switch 2 is coming out probably early next year?
The only thing I can think of is maybe we won't get the Switch 2 until the end of next year.
Yeah, and that's probably more true, but the Switch is showing its age, man. We need that successor.
The glass half full mindset in me thinks that they're going to have some kind of surprise.
Yeah.
It's probably a Zelda remake. Maybe they'll finally put one of those Zelda remakes on the Switch.
Hey, we have been Nostradamus here accidentally on the show before. So watch tomorrow. They're like, Legend of Zelda remake out now. It's like, whoa.
I mean, I was thinking like just the porting over the Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess, but that'd be a heck of a surprise.
What would that be like if we got a Nintendo Direct and they're like, hey, you Legend of Zelda fans, we've got the original Legend of Zelda remake coming out for the Switch, available today. And not only that, wait, there's more. We have Wind Waker remake available now.
I think I'd have to retire from the podcast if I got that right.
I would just have. There's nothing else left for me and you to do at that point.
Yeah,
We're done.
just close up shop.
Let's see. This is from. Do I have the right one pulled up here? Yeah. This is another rumor from MyNintendoNews.com. Mega Man games coming to Game Boy Nintendo Switch online library. Busy video gaming news month is about to get underway. Nevertheless, that won't stop Nintendo from releasing their monthly drop of retro editions to the Nintendo Switch online libraries. A user on Reddit has allegedly taken a picture of what seems to be an error on the Portuguese Nintendo Switch eShop. The company may have accidentally put up a banner on the eShop's Explore section revealing that Mega Man games are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy library. The banner was reportedly only up for an hour before it was taken down, so it seems that Nintendo's next batch of retro game editions will be coming very soon. So what do you think about this? I don't see the point in this because you can buy the Mega Man collections already on the Nintendo Switch, so it wouldn't be in Capcom's best interest to do that.
Yeah,
well, you can't get the Game Boy games though, so yeah, I guess I don't know. It could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Game Boy games are on the various collections.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Several of them. Yeah, I don't think they are.
If they're not, then I think it's worth it because no one ever really talks about the Game Boy games. It's mostly the NES ones.
And you know I'm a huge Mega Man fan, and when I think Mega Man, I never think of the Game Boy version. I forget that there are Game Boy versions of those games.
Yeah, when I saw this story, I was like, "Oh yeah, those actually existed."
See, I'm literally sitting here reading this article. I read it yesterday when I put it in the doc, and it still didn't register with me that it was Game Boy games. Game Boy stuff just doesn't register with me.
I mean, it'd be cool to play them just because I never have. But I mean, I guess why not? But kind of like how you mentioned that we know that the Switch's successor is coming. It's almost like now what's the point of adding a huge library on your eShop?
Yeah.
Because you've had all this time to do it.
All I know is
how to do it.
For the next Switch, if they don't add the Nintendo eShop music back to it and make it a more pleasant experience, they need to rehire whoever did that for the virtual shop.
Yeah, 100%.
Just rehire that person, bring them back.
It's just not. It's not good.
Mm-mm.
It's not good at all.
Nope.
Our last story
can't
comes
defend
to us
that store.
from.
Sorry, I just had to throw that in. I can't defend that awful store. It's terrible.
No, it's bad. Our last story from NintendoLife.com. The Thing Remastered is officially announced for the Switch, coming this year. Let's see. The Thing Remastered has been officially announced by Night Dive Studios. There's no firm release date just yet, but it's heading to the Nintendo Switch later this year, which has been enhanced with upgraded textures, models, lighting, and much, much more. Let's check out the key features, which include, continue the story of the Thing and face off against terrifying monsters, from scuttling head spiders and human-like walkers to gigantic, multi-tentacled level bosses.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. Command a squad of up to 4 NPCs from Soldier, Medic, and Engineer character classes through the game's 11 frightening levels. Gain the trust of your squad members and minimize their fear levels lest they become defiant or worse, succumb to paranoia. That's a cool little dynamic.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Eternal Darkness.
I had this excuse me. I had this game for the original Xbox. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. But I had this game for the original Xbox. I loved this game. It is so atmospheric and moody. If you're a fan of the movie The Thing, please play this game. I am going to get this when it comes out because I had it for the original Xbox. I've been on the hunt for it, but it's kind of an expensive game because it wasn't like a huge release. so it's a little pricey these days. But now that they have this remaster coming out, I am so excited because this game is so good.
It looks really good too. I'm excited for it. I never played the original, but I'm going to be getting this remaster just because I
Yeah.
love the movie, and I think it'd be cool to be in that world. And I really like that, gaining the trust of your squad members, because it reminds me of that Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem game, how you can kind of become paranoid and start to hallucinate.
Yeah.
That's such a cool little thing.
It almost sounds like you could play Among Us in this game if you had,
Yeah.
if you could like have an online feature of this game. You could do a multiplayer, almost like an Among Us type of situation. That would actually be pretty fun.
That would be. Test
Yeah.
some friendships that way.
I absolutely. But I'm telling you, please play this game when it comes out. I'm so excited for this. Like, I loved this game when it was on the original Xbox. It was a continuation of the movie, and I love the movie. I watched the movie at least twice a year since I was a kid. I've seen that movie so many times. It's a masterpiece, and this game is a masterpiece too. I can't wait.
Yeah, same.
But that's going to bring us to the end of the news, and now it is time for This Month in Video Game History. In June of 1984, Ultimate Play the Game releases Saberwolf on the ZX Spectrum.
Which Ultimate Play the Game came to be known as a little company called Rare.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Saberwolf is an interesting character to me because I've never played the Saberwolf game, but Saberman, one of the characters, made a cameo appearance in Banjo-Tooie, and that's how I got introduced to Saberwolf and really started to kind of do a deep dive on the history of Rare, because I knew they made Donkey Kong Country and the Banjo-Kazooie games and all those, but their history goes back pretty far. So I'd recommend doing a deep dive on the history of Rare, because they've made some incredible stuff.
We should do that. That should be we could do that for an episode. Let's just do a deep dive on Rare.
Hey, I could go for 3 hours on Rare.
And I like this poster for Saberwolf. They were ahead of their time because this is very 90s. Like, it looks like a logo for like a 90s, edgy cartoon.
It kind of reminds me of the Labyrinth movie logo. The
Yeah,
David
it
Bowie
does.
movie.
Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit of that. But yeah, you play as Saberman through a jungle maze. So it seems like a pretty decent game, but I've never played it. So
Yeah. I wonder if this is on what's that site we use again for the
playclassic.games.
Yeah, I'll have to look up and see if that's on there.
Yeah, if it is, I'd definitely love to play it.
Yeah.
June of 1989, Lucasfilm Games releases puzzle game Pipe Mania, which lives on in other titles as a visual representation of computer or security system hacking. It reminds me of the old screensaver when you'd have like the three-dimensional pipes.
Yeah, me too.
I always like watching those.
This legacy went on to become the hacking in BioShock. Is basically what this was.
That's right. Yeah. The graphic reminds me of, what was that? A Minesweeper.
Yeah.
Remember Minesweeper? That's what it makes me think of.
It's an anxiety-inducing game. I don't really like it. I always hated those hacking sections in BioShock.
Yeah.
Not
and the
fan.
box art horrifies me.
Yeah. It's
of
just
this game.
Look at it yourselves. It's terrible box art.
This should have been on our worst video game cover.
I don't know how this
Top
one
5.
didn't pop up on any lists anywhere.
I know.
June 30th of 1995, Spectrum Holobyte releases Star Trek: The Next Generation of Final Unity for DOS and Mac. Let's see what this is all about. I don't remember this game at all.
Space, the final frontier. I've never played a Star Trek game, but
Really?
I love the Next Generation. I love that show so much. So I would love to play a Next Generation game, but a good one, obviously. I don't
Yeah,
know if this game is any good. What's cool is it says here the cast reprise their roles as the voice of their respective characters.
that's
So
cool.
that's yeah.
Yeah, I have the SNES Star Trek game,
Is
and
it any good?
it's okay. It's not great. It's
Mm,
it could be better. Like, I could think of better gameplay functions.
yeah. Let's see. It says here there's tactical or you could do tactical on the bridge.
Oh,
You
as
can
a
go on
matter of
away
fact,
missions and all this kind of stuff.
I just remembered I bought a Star Trek game for the PS2 not too long ago, and I actually wanted to review it, and I just now remembered that I bought it. It's called, it's all about ship to ship warfare, I guess you'd say. It's like, it's got all the different kind of Star Trek ships in it. It's tactical type stuff. Like, I'm not sure, but I'm going to play it and see what it's all about.
How many people are going to pick the bird of prey?
Yeah, everybody. let me just look up real quick. Star Trek PS2 games, because I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's downstairs, and I don't want to go. Oh, it's called Encounters. Star Trek Encounters.
Okay.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
that might be a review coming up here soon.
Yeah. Real quick, favorite Next Generation character?
Character? Oh. I mean, I'm always I love Data. Um, I don't know. I do like me some number one and the way he swings his leg over to sit in a chair. I always feel like that when he sits down, I feel like the chair is being violated.
There's a montage I found of all the times that he does that
I
throughout
saw
the show. It's so funny.
Have you seen that video? That's not. Have you seen that video of of every time Captain Picard, like, he does that thing where he like pulls his shirt down,
Yeah.
and every time he pulls it down, I guess somebody went in and CGI'd. Every time he does that, his his little Star Trek pin pops off and goes flying.
I have to find this video.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's hilarious. You've got to see it.
Yeah. Let's see. June 26th of 1997, Bullfrog Productions and EA released Dungeon Keeper for MS-DOS and Windows 95. The iconic Windows 95.
This,
It's a great name too, Bullfrog Productions.
yeah, I like that. That is I'm not sure how I feel about this box art.
No, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is I'm looking
It,
at.
it would deter me from buying it, if I'm being honest.
Same. It's got. Is that a? I mean, is it a pig? Like a demon pig? What is that?
It's Ganon's less evil cousin.
Danengorf is what his name is.
I love that. Danengorf. And then the hand you use in the gameplay is like the wall masters
Oh
from
yeah,
Legend of Zelda. The hands that come down from the ceiling and grab you.
yeah. I see
That's what it
that.
reminds me of.
Huh. I mean, it looks all right. The actual gameplay screen, but man, that if I was at the Office Depot back in like 1997 looking for a game and I saw this, that box art would not be enticing to me at all.
No, not at all.
Let's see, June 26th of 2003, LucasArts releases Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb for the PlayStation 2 in North America. That was a great game.
A game that I think we should review at some point.
Absolutely.
Because
I'm
it came
for
out from for the Xbox and Windows earlier in the year. PS2 got it a little late, but yeah, this was a fun game from what I remember. I didn't have a ton of experience playing with it, but like you get to be in the Indiana Jones world.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
I had it for it was the original Xbox, and it used the same game engine as the Buffy the Vampire Slayer games, and I love those games too. For the original Xbox, so if I could find a, why don't they put that on Game Pass? Unless it's already there. I mean, it could be, but I don't think it is. If they put it on Game Pass, I would play that right now.
Well, hopefully it is.
We'll see.
We mentioned this earlier, but June 23rd of 2004, Capcom releases the Mega Man Anniversary Collection for the GameCube and PlayStation 2 in North America.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this box art. I actually think it's quite cool. It's also like, it reminds me of a comic book cover.
Yeah.
But it includes Mega Man 1 through 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
It includes Mega Man the Power Battle and Mega Man 2 the Power Fighters. So it does not include the Game Boy games.
I don't know what it is when I see cool Mega Man art like that box art. It just makes me want to go play Mega Man.
But it's not like the original Mega Man box art though.
No, that's definitely a some artwork that got better over the years.
Which is worse, Mega Man or Dungeon Keeper?
Oh, Mega art. Man's way worse. Dungeon Keeper looks like, I don't know. It looks like Legend of Zelda compared to the original Mega Man.
You know, we've done worst video game covers, but I don't think we've done best. We should do best.
I'm for that. And maybe that should be our next top 5.
Yeah.
I'll have to find another weird cover to Photoshop our heads onto. But that's going to bring us to the end of this month of video game history. So before we go into the review for tonight, Derek, would you like to do our Patreon shout-outs?
Sure. As always, we'd like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out Brian Piotrowski, Nick W., Eld the Zombie, Yup Fed, a.k.a. Knife, James, a.k.a. at Jimbo Jr. over on our Discord, Raven, Danny House, Justin Mispel, John West, Daniel Salmon, Mr. B-Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, Tyler Watson, Axblade07, Armez Jackson, Carlos Longoria, and I'm saying this because we have been off for the last couple of weeks, but you also know him as I Am the Rampage!
Scooter McGee!
Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Mr. Joey Image, and of course,
Mama Diamond.
Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions and keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Podcast. You know the spiel by this point. I've used so many analogies, it's got to be ingrained in your head at this point.
Mm-hmm.
For as little as $1 a month, you get your own RSS feed with 0 ads. So if you just want to hear us continuously talk for an hour with 0 interruptions, you get that for as little as $1 a month.
And here's the thing, and if you're like, I don't know how to use the RSS feed thing, well, you can listen to the show right there in the Patreon app. They got a Patreon app, but the RSS feed, all you got to do is you click that RSS feed. It has a little button there that says RSS feed on the Patreon. You click it, and then you take that and you put it in whatever podcatcher you use. I don't think you can do it on Spotify, though. Spotify's weird, but if you're listening to us on like Overcast or Good Pods or Downcast, anything like that, you just put that RSS feed in there, and then you set it and forget it, and you never have to think about it again.
Yep, when a new episode pops up, it's just boom, it's right there. But yeah, if you also get early access to our bonus content, which for the most part includes a commentary track for a live action show, animated show, movies. We're getting the Thunder in Paradise. It's
Can't
coming.
wait. That's gonna be so. All right, let's make a bet. Who's gonna be the first one to throw up a Hulk Hogan? Uh, who's gonna pretend to be Hulk Hogan first? Like who's gonna make?
I
Do
think
the
we
Hulk
should all
Hogan
do
voice?
it throughout the entire episode.
We could.
Just come up with I'll just list all of Hogan's nicknames, and you can pick one. I'll pick one. Wally picks one, and Joey can pick the other.
I'm for it. Or we could do it all as different wrestler impressions. Like we could have one doing Hulk, somebody else could do the Macho Man. We could have like maybe Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, that'd be fun. If you will.
I like that.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, send us your social media info, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, so we can give you a proper shout out.
And tonight, Derek is going to be talking about that was jaunty.
Yeah, it's a little catchy intro to the game that I'm going to be talking about. So it's been a bit since I've talked about a Sonic game, and I know we're coming up on the anniversary of Sonic, and this is one that I've been curious to go back and revisit, which is Sonic 3D Blast, known in Europe and Japan as Sonic 3D Flicky's Island.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Now, I haven't either, and Sonic 3D Blast is a much better name.
Yep.
It is a 1996 platformer game in the Sonic series for the Sega Genesis and Sega Saturn, which we're going to get to the comparisons between the two here in a little bit. So, longtime listeners of the show know I'm a huge Sonic fan. I've not been shy about that, but I'm also critical of when the games aren't good. When this game came out when I was a kid, of course, I obviously wanted to play it because it had Sonic on it, and I'm like, oh, this will be fun. I wasn't a fan of it because it is drastically different than the Sonic games I grew up with.
Yeah.
We've talked about how the transition from 2D to 3D has not exactly been kind to that franchise. But I feel like this game gets overlooked because the adventure games, while they have their flaws, they have really good stories and they have good characters. So you kind of take the good with the bad with that. So this has been re-released, I should say, multiple times on like different Sonic collections and things like that, which is odd to me because this game has a very mixed reaction, if you will. Like some of the reviews when it came out at the time, they say it's really good, but it hasn't really aged that well. Now, I was actually excited to go back and play this because there have been games I've played in the past for this show that I was not a fan of, and I actually became a fan of them. Like Donkey Kong Country 3 is one of them. I didn't really care for it growing up, but after playing it as an adult, it's actually a really good game. So I was curious about what my thoughts of it would be. In short, it's okay. It's not an awful game, but it is certainly not a great one.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe this was kind of like a sort of a half step between the original 2D side-scrolling Sonic games and the 3D games that started to come out later. This is sort of like that in-between period.
Yeah, and that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. So the way this game works is you're looking at it from kind of like an isometric point of view, where everything's kind of slanted in a way, like it's 3D, kind of, if that makes any sense.
So like 2.5D, kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, what really hurts this game is that the way that the game looks and what you have to do hinders the core of what made the Sonic games great. What you what's great about Sonic 1, 2, and 3 is that you can just run through it as fast as you can, and you feel like you're going fast constantly. With this, you can't.
Yeah.
Which is stupid because you have the speed shoes power up, but it's obsolete because you can't really just run anywhere because you've got to go through like different obstacles and the way the map's shaped, you don't really go straight forward hardly at all.
And how do you
So
make a
what's the point
game
of
where you
including it?
take the main character, the one thing that they're known for, like their power, and then you take it away? That would be like having a Mario game and he can't jump. Like that. Just,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, so that didn't make any sense to me. Um, it also gets really repetitive. So to kind of talk a little bit about what the game is about. So basically, you embark on a journey to save the Flickies, which are birds enslaved by Dr. Robotnik. They're the animals that are put in the robots that Robotnik's made. So he goes to this island to collect a bunch of them so he can build more robots. Sonic shows up and is like, "Hey, don't be doing that." So the way the zones work is each zone has three different acts. Acts 1 and 2, you have to collect your different flickies. As Act 3 is a boss fight. Each act, Acts 1 and 2, are divided into sections. In each section, you have to find. There's only 5 enemies in the area that you wander around, and you collect the flicky after you defeat the enemy, and then you take them to this warp ring. You put them through it, and then that opens up a gate to the next section. And there you find 5 more flickies, and that usually ends the act. It's not a bad concept, but it gets really repetitive very quickly, which is disappointing.
Yeah. And I've watched some game. I've never played this game, but I've watched some gameplay video of this particular game. I think the one I saw was actually the Saturn version, and it looks good. I did like the look of the game. It doesn't have like it still has that pixel art look to it. It still looks good, but just something about the gameplay it felt like whoever was playing it frustrated me watching them play this game.
Yeah, it's the graphics are one of the high points that I would say about it because we've been very critical about those early 3D games and how pixelated and you see all these polygon shapes and whatnot. Even with the Genesis version, it doesn't look that bad. The
Yeah.
Saturn version does look better, but in going back and playing it, because I played it on the GameCube as part of the Sonic Mega Collection, it had the Genesis version. And I was like, you know what? For 3D game on the Genesis, it really doesn't look that bad. So I will give it that. Like the graphics didn't bother me. The music is good, which I think you come to expect from Sonic games. It's one of my favorite aspects of those games because I'll have Sonic music playlists on my Spotify that I listen to. And this game, yeah, it may not have the best music, but it's got a couple of decent ones. Like the second zone you play in is called the Rusty Ruin Zone. The music to Act 1 is so catchy that I found myself like adding that to my rotation
Yeah.
in my list of Sonic music that I listen to. So if I could take away anything positive, it's that it gave me a new Sonic track to listen to.
It just seems like one of those kind of I imagine if let's just say right now, when did this come out for the first time? What, 96? Did it
96,
say?
yeah.
Now, in 1996, if you're a Sonic fan, you're probably like, oh, this is cool. A new Sonic game. It's a little different, so I'm going to play this. And you probably enjoyed it at the time. But I feel like this type of game probably just doesn't hold up. And I don't know how you really feel about it. You really haven't gotten into it yet, but feels like if you're coming to Sonic now with no real knowledge of Sonic, I feel like the first, Sonic 1, 2, and 3, those games are going to hold up. Those games still hold up. Like, over time, they've held up. Games like this really don't. Mean Bean Machine is fun to play, but it's one of those games that, like, after about 10 minutes, you're just like, I'm kind of done, tired of this.
Yeah.
It just seems like that type of game. Like it'd be fun for a few minutes. Yeah, it just feels like it would be fun for a few minutes, and then just, all right, well, I'm going to go back and play, like, Sonic 2, because it's better.
Yeah. There is one note I wanted to say, and this is just me being nitpicky and being a jerk because I'm nitpicky when it comes to Sonic stuff. So the first level of the game, it's called the Green Groove Zone, in keeping up with like Green Hill Zone, Emerald Hill Zone, things like that. As I was listening to the music, like, you got to keep in mind, I haven't played this game in 20 years. So this is almost like a fresh experience for me. As I'm listening to the music, I'm like, this sounds really familiar. Like, I've heard this before, but not from this game. And then it hit me. They used the same track for Windy Hill in Sonic Adventure 1.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you lazy, lazy, lazy developers.
Yeah, they might have been running out of time. They might have been running out of time. It's like, oh, quick, we need a track here.
I mean, it's a catchy track. Like, don't get me wrong, but I mean, they reuse a lot of stuff in Sonic, like especially the sound effects. But that's the first instance I remember where they were blatantly like, okay, we're just gonna take the track. They're probably like, nobody really played this game anyway, so nobody will notice.
Yeah.
But I noticed. My least favorite part, the special stages. Now, how you get to the special stages is kind of cool, because somewhere hidden in each zone are Tails and Knuckles. If you give them 50 rings, you get transported to the special stage where you collect the Chaos Emeralds. The special stages from the Genesis version, awful. The worst special stage. The graphics, it looks like they ripped the background from Doom and put Sonic in it. Like, you know how the Doom background looks so pixelated and terrible? It looks like that. And they're obnoxiously easy. Like, no challenge. Well, so it's kind of like the special stage in Sonic 2 where you're running through the half pipe and you have to collect, like, say 50 rings before you get to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then you keep going. It's like that. But the problem is it's not a challenge to do. Like, well, that's why I like the Sonic 2 special stage.
So it's more of a pain in the ass thing to have to do than fun.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But like the Sonic 2 special stage is fun. It's very challenging, but it's also fun because you've got the catchy music. You've got all the bright, vibrant colors and backgrounds. This just washed out, awful looking crap. Like, you should look up a screen cap of the special stage from the Genesis version.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
And I don't think you'll disagree with me. But I will say, like, this not. I'm making it sound like it's a terrible game, but I've played far worse. It's just, it gets really repetitive, and it took away the element that made Sonic iconic. Your face says it all.
Yeah, that looks terrible.
Oh, isn't it so bad?
Yeah, because the one for the Saturn looks decent.
Yeah.
The one for the Genesis is, that's ugly. That's real ugly.
That is real ugly. And overall, like, I'm sure the Saturn game is better. I've watched some gameplay of it. I've never played the Saturn version myself. But what's interesting about the Saturn version is that the soundtrack is completely different. Which I find odd. Like, and it physically sounds better. because the Saturn's obviously going to have a better sound
Oh
chip in
yeah.
it. But I don't know. I like the music from the Genesis version better because to me it sounds like classic Sonic.
Yeah.
But that's just me personally.
Well, I
But
mean,
I do
they
think,
made good use of that Genesis sound chip, especially for the Sonic games. I mean, they have a very unique, sound signature. Like you couldn't achieve that sound on the Super Nintendo, even though the Super Nintendo was arguably had a better sound chip in it. There was just something about the Genesis, especially the Sonic games, that just there was something great about what they could pull out of that sound chip.
hmm yeah, those tracks are they're still iconic today.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if this game had been released as a Saturn exclusive, it would have done better. I get that Sega wanted to have a Sonic game as a send off for the Genesis, because let's be honest, Sonic was the backbone of the Genesis.
Yeah, and Sonic didn't
But
even come out till like not what 1989. That
91.
91. Yeah, because
hmm
and the Sega Genesis itself had been out since what, like 87, I think.
Something like that.
Let me look it up real quick. Let's see, it came out 88. Well, in 88 in Japan and in 1989 in North America. So in 96, you're talking about a 7-year-old system at that point. So it was getting to be long in the tooth by 96.
I would have done a traditional 2D game and just call it Sonic 4,
Yeah.
and that could have been the send off for the Genesis. And then you have this new system where you're doing 3D games. You have Sonic's first 3D game for that console if you're going to go all in on it.
Well, Sega was kind of all over the place around this time,
Yeah.
especially with the the Sega CD, 32X, and then the Saturn, and then the Dreamcast. It was kind of like, what are you doing, Sega? Like it was almost like they didn't have a game plan at that point.
Yeah. As far as the reception of the game goes, reception of the Genesis version was generally positive upon its original release. While Dan Jevons of Mean Machine Sega was initially skeptical of the first 3D Sonic game appearing on the Genesis, he proclaimed Sonic 3D Blast to be a legitimate addition to the Sonic series and a smart game in its own right. He and Angus Swan, what a name, of the same publication were grateful for the change in gameplay style. I disagree with that completely. They additionally praised the music, controls, and sense of inertia in Sonic's movements. Graphics were widely praised. Reception to the Saturn version was mixed. He this name's going to crack me up. Lee Nutter of Sega Saturn Magazine compared the gameplay unfavorably to previous Sonic games. He found it had a great deal of fun to offer and praised it as being more challenging than any previous Sonic game. So, to read off a couple of the rankings, in the retrospective, Game Rankings gave the Saturn a 67% and the Genesis a 59%. All Game gave the Genesis version 3.5 out of 5 stars. Genesis version was 6 out of 10 from Eurogamer. IGN gave Genesis a 6 out of 10, and so did Nintendo Life.
Yeah, it seems like it's right there in the middle, slightly above average, so like a C minus.
Yeah, and I think for me, I mentioned it before, but is it the worst game I've ever played? No. But I expect more from a Sonic game because I love them. I want them to be really good. To me, I get trying something different, but you took away what made Sonic popular.
That's what I was gonna say. Like if you want to, if you gonna you play Sonic because you want to be fast. If you take away his speed, and then he's not Sonic the Hedgehog. He's just Hedgehog. He like does it. If you can't run fast, what's the point?
Yeah, so the really repetitive elements of what you have to do in the game, the lack of speed elements really hurt it. I don't want to give it too low of a score. So I'm going to be I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the road. I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah.
It has some good things about it. Will I ever go back and play it again? No.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably try it. Like if I was over at your place and you had it up on the Genesis, I'll be like, yeah, I'll play this for a bit. But am I going to seek out this game to play it? Probably not. Now, will I sit down and play Sonic 1, 2, and 3? You bet your ass I will, because those games are great.
Yeah.
But if they're gonna make Sonic games, make them fast. Like that's the whole point. Playing Sonic games, make them fast.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Sonic 3D Blast.
All right. Well, next week I got an itch to play a point and click kind of game. So next week I've already reviewed what was it? Shadowgate a couple of years ago here on the show. I really liked that game for the NES. I've never played The Uninvited, so I'm going to play The Uninvited for the NES and see what that game's all about, because I like a good NES point-and-click adventure.
Sweet. No, I'm excited for that. Mushmouth says, I like 3D Blast, by which I mean I will occasionally play the first 2 levels and then quit.
Seems to be the consensus for that game.
Yeah.
But that's going to bring us to the end of the episode. Derek, you had a little sneak peek episode drop this last week.
Yeah, so I will officially say for those who, well, if you haven't listened to the update yet, it's only like 8 minutes long, so you can go subscribe to the Real Wisdom podcast feed at linktree.com/realwisdompod. The show will be launching August 1st, so I've got quite a few interviews scheduled for the end of July. But we're also filming my wife's movie in July, so I want to wait till that's over. So I'm not pulling my hair out.
Do not blame you.
Yeah, so August is just, it works out a little better because the movie will be done. I'll have plenty of episodes in the can. I've got like 7 interviews planned for the end of July.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to have a lot in the can.
Don't overload yourself.
There's a method that I have.
Right.
So yeah, so there's a reason why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. So
we're good.
But yeah, the show will launch August 1st on all major podcasting platforms as well as YouTube. As I mentioned, you can check it out at linktree.com/realwisdompod. And if you want to follow my wife's movie, just head over to facebook.com/plainjanemovie. We'll be filming in a little less than a month, which is crazy to think about. We also have a GoFundMe up. I'll probably pin it to the top of the Facebook page if you want to check it out. We've got some cool perks that includes anything from a free t-shirt to getting to shadow the director for a day on set. So go check that out.
Tell you what, send me that link when we're done here, and I'll throw that GoFundMe link in the show notes so people can go throw the movie some money if they feel so inclined.
Yeah, it would be very much appreciated.
Yeah. And as far as the Open Micers podcast, even though I did take last week off, we released 2 episodes last week. So one of them was the regular normal episode was Jacob talks to himself. So he did like a 40-minute episode of him talking about some of his favorite comedians.
He did good with it, though.
Yeah, he's good by himself. I was proud of him for doing that.
Yeah, I told him he should just start the Jacob Craig experience.
Yeah, well, hey, he could just take over Open Micers, and I don't have to do that stupid show anymore. Oh, I'm just kidding.
No, Open Micers is great.
We had that one drop. Also, last month's Patreon extra episode dropped as well with Mr. Mushmouth TB, who is in the chat room right now. Mushmouth TB on Twitter and Facebook as Touch Biloxi. He did our theme song for the Open Micers podcast, and he finally got subjected to his own theme song over there on Open Micers. So that was a fun episode to do. And yes, he said he's in the chat room. He says he prefers our recent episode with guest Mark Simmons, who was very handsome and cool and funny and probably your best guest. Yes, sir, you are all those things. So go check out that episode at Open Micers, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and openmicers.com is the website. So, Derek,
Yeah.
what else we got to throw out there before we leave here tonight?
I think that's it. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good. It felt good. It was a little shaky to starting the show off, but we got there. We're here.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, my computer will act right next week. You better act right, or we're going to take you out in the yard, grab a switch off the tree, and show you the what for.
You're like Harry from Home Alone.
Well, on that note, let's get out of here. If you want to email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. Nerdcaveretro.com is our link tree. That includes all of our socials, which we're now on Threads, so you can follow us over there, our Patreon, and of course our merch shop, which you can just go straight to ncrmerch.com. We have embarrassingly retro shirts over there now. And you don't have to get a shirt. You can get a hat, sticker, magnet, bag, mug, whatever your nerdy little heart desires, right there at ncrmerch.com. And if you don't have any money, you can't be a patron, like, I can't give you guys $1 a month. The inflation's too high. I understand, man. Times are tough. You know what you can do? Go leave us a review and or a 5-star rating on all podcasting platforms, and leave it a review on YouTube as well. We have we put these videos up on YouTube, so you can go over there. Leave us all kind of good reviews. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. What do I want to play here? I don't know what I want to play. Hold on.
I have spoken.
There we go. And that's an episode.
Yeah.
Joey says he's going to be a part of a comedy show August 4th in Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
Nice.
So everybody, go follow Joey Image at Joey Image. What is it now? YT. At Joey Image YT on Twitter, Instagram, and are you on Threads yet, Joey? I don't know if you're on Threads. I don't think he is. Well, at least go follow him on Twitter.
I'm not sure if he is or not.
Go follow him. Go follow Mushmouth at MushmouthTB, and all those good fine people over there on the internet. So thank you all for hanging out with us. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here, and we will see all of you next